At last, UFC has started showing some respect to the flyweight division, as this weekend's UFC Mexico City card is an intentional flyweight headliner after more than 3 years. The last time when the UFC intentionally did an event with a flyweight headliner, it was UFC 255 Figueiredo vs Pires, which was initially supposed to be Figueiredo vs Garbrandt in November 2020. After that, there had been 2 flyweight headliners, both as compulsion rather than choice. Moreover, this event has a UFC record of 5 flyweight fights in a single event, and the heaviest weight class on it is lightweight. Yes, no heavy hitters at all. Man and co-man both are rematches which had ended due to injuries, and both are potential #1 contender fights featuring top 5 fighters. It is the 7th UFC event from Mexico, while the 6th from Mexico City. Let me give you a short preview of the card so that you can enjoy it more if you intend to watch it. I'm the Indian accent guy and you are on Fightbook. A Tajik featherweight, Muhammad Naimov, will kick off the preliminary card, taking on Eric Silva. Naimov lost the opportunity to join the UFC roster when he lost his Contender Series fight in September 2020, but the man went on to a 3-fight win streak, and when the UFC needed a replacement of Guram Kutatiladze against Jimmy Mullarkey in June 2023, they called him to step up on short notice in a higher weight class. Not only he defeated Mullarkey by a second-round TKO as a heavy underdog, he came back into the featherweight division and defeated Nathaniel Wood, who was riding a 3-fight win streak and was on the edge on the rankings. You may wonder why he is on the prelims then. It's either because it is a Mexican card and he is not a Mexican nor his opponent Eric Silva, or maybe they are trying to force us to watch the prelims as well. Moreover, 36-year-old Silva is the oldest fighter on the card, coming off his unsuccessful UFC debut, so currently he is a no one among UFC fans. The fight is watchable only because of Naimov, who can prove to be a problem if he does what he is supposed to do as a massive betting favorite. Next 2 fights are unranked flyweight bouts which you can skip. Save your time, be casual. Let's move towards the lightweight bout between Claudio Puelles vs Fares Ziam. Claudio Puelles is a well-rounded fighter with great submission skills, while Fares Ziam is known for his striking and knockout power. Puelles is coming off a sacrifice which stopped the fall of Dan Hooker, but before that, he was riding a 5-fight win streak with 3 finishes and 2 performance bonuses. On the other side, Fares Ziam is now on a 2-fight win streak and lost only 1 out of his last 5 UFC bouts. All of his 4 UFC wins came via decision. If I was a bettor, I would have put my money on Puelles, who entered the octagon as plus 168 underdog. The winner of this fight will definitely find himself on the verge of the lightweight rankings, so you are not supposed to miss this one. This fight would have been in the man card if one of them was Mexican. The next 3 fights are again skippable. 2 flyweight bouts where Yair, who is 0-1 in the UFC, faces Lacerda, who is 0-4. Then Aguilar, 1-1 in the UFC, faces Mendonca, who is 0-2 in the UFC. Same with the featured bantamweight bout where Quinones, who is 1-1 in the promotion, will try to come back in the win column by beating Barcelos, who is 1-4 in his last 5 and riding a 2-fight losing streak. So let them win some and we move on towards the man card, which is definitely stacked better. The man card starts with the lightweight bout between 2 Dana White's Contender Series alumni Manuel Torres and Chris Duncan, who are going to steal the show at UFC Mexico City. Duncan's professional MMA record is 11 wins and only 1 loss with a current 4-fight win streak and 73% finish rate, while Torres is 14-2, currently on a 5-fight first-round finish streak with overall finish rate of 93%. He has just 1 decision in his whole career. All other wins came via first-round finishes. Moreover, he is coming into this fight as a betting favorite as well as a fan favorite because he represents Mexico, so he is definitely gonna get a huge mental support from his home crowd. There is no way this one is not gonna be fireworks. The only question is, will one of these men walk away with 50,000 in his pocket, or will both split the 100,000 in fight of the night honors? Next is the only women fight in the whole card where two unranked but skilled strawweights, Yasmin Horechi and Sam Hughes, will showcase their talents. Both fighters are extremely talented but still have a lot to prove. Eyes are on Horechi, who is 2-1 in the UFC and 10-1 overall, coming off a 20-second knockout loss which has derailed her hype train. Hughes, on the other hand, is a tough and aggressive fighter who has started her UFC career as 0-3 but now has won 3 in her last 4 UFC bouts. Despite coming off an upset loss, Mexican Horechi is the biggest favorite on the card. The youngest fighter on the UFC roster, 19-year-old kid Raul Rosas Jr., had an amazing MMA career so far, having a good MMA record of 8 wins and 1 loss. He earned his UFC contract at the end of 2022 when he competed in Dana White's Contender Series as a 17-year-old kid who beat his opponent and improved his undefeated record to 6-0. After that, he made a successful UFC debut, winning his fight by a rear naked choke in the very first round, earning himself a performance bonus. Then he lost his next bout to Christian Rodriguez, and despite so much doubts, he came back into the win column at UFC Noche, this time via TKO again in the first round, winning himself another performance bonus. 7 of his 8 wins are finishes, all before the start of the third round. His opponent is TUF 29 winner Ricky Tercios, who also won his UFC debut, which was the finale of TUF 29. Then he lost to Ayman Zehabi and then got back into the win column. But unlike Rosas Jr., both of his octagon victories came via split decision, improving his decision rate to 67%. So no surprise that Tercios is a heavy underdog coming into this fight, but still a good step up for Rosas Jr., who can get his hype back if he gets through him this weekend. The next lightweight fight between 14-1 Mexican Daniel Zellhuber and 12-1 Francisco Prado is also an exciting one. Both joined the UFC as an undefeated fighter and both lost their debuts. But now Prado is on a 1-fight win streak, coming off a first-round performance-earning TKO, while Zellhuber is on a 2-fight win streak, coming off a performance-earning second-round submission win over Christos Giagos. With the 100% finish rate, Prado is still 2-1 underdog against the Mexican. Yair Rodriguez and Brian Ortega are set to face off in a highly anticipated featherweight rematch as the co-main event. Rodriguez is known for his flashy striking and unorthodox techniques, while Brian Ortega is a well-rounded fighter with slick submissions. Brian Ortega is currently being criticized from UFC fans for being ranked as top 5 despite his last win in the UFC is an old story. Khabib retired 3.5 years ago and his last win in the octagon is older than that. Anyway, he definitely has the skills to silence all of his haters. Ortega is the most senior fighter on the card who made his debut in 2014. Went 7-0 with 2 performance and 2 fight of the night bonuses to get the title shot and lost to then champ Max Holloway in another fight of the night performance. After 2 years layoff, he came back and beat the Korean Zombie to get another title shot, but again lost to then champ Volkanovski in another fight of the night performance. To get back in the win column and the title picture, he returned in July 2022 against Yair Rodriguez, but his shoulder got injured in the first round, making him lose back-to-back fights for the first time in his career. Now it's time to finish the unfinished business with Yair Rodriguez, who is also a marvelous and flashy fighter with 5 fight of the nights and 4 performance of the night bonuses in his 13 UFC fights. After getting an easy win over Ortega, he beat Josh Emmett to become the interim champ and then lost the unification bout to Volkanovski via 3rd round knockout. Despite already having a win over Ortega, he is just a slight betting favorite. This matchup has all the ingredients for an exciting showdown. Both of the fighters missed their opportunities to get the title but still are motivated to get another chance. If the winner of this fight doesn't get the title shot, he surely gets the title contender match at least. No disrespect to Moreno, but this is the fight I'm most excited about. With 16 post-fight bonuses combined, this fight has the potential to be a real barn burner with both fighters bringing their A game. The headliner is also a rematch, the third UFC main event for number 1 ranked Brandon Moreno, while the first one for number 3 ranked Brandon Royval. Both fighters have already had an intense battle before, which ended with Moreno's TKO victory at the end of the first round. It's the third time Moreno is going to fight in his home country, and he is yet winless in front of his home crowd. The first time in Mexico City, he fought Sergio Pettis and lost by a unanimous decision, while the second time he fought Askar Askarov and went to a split draw. This is his third chance to win the fight in front of his home crowd and end the event on a happy note. He is a former 2-time flyweight champion who has never defended his belt. He is coming off a title loss to Alexandre Pantoja, which was a controversial split decision. Instead of crying for a rematch, he chose the gladiator's path and accepted the fight against up-and-comer prospect Amir Albazi to earn the title shot, but Albazi pulled out and was replaced with Royval. Now this is 100% a title eliminator fight for Moreno, but the case is different if Royval wins, because although he is also coming off a loss to Alexandre Pantoja, his loss wasn't a split decision. He was dominantly 50-45 by the champ. If it was not for Moreno, Royval would be in the prelims. Moreno is a massive star in Mexico, and the whole crowd will be there to see him get his first UFC win in his own country. What do you think? Can the underdog pull off this big upset? Share your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. So till then, do whatever you want.